Hi everyone. My name is Shlomi Noach. I'm with the database infrastructure team at GitHub, and I'm here to tell you why open sourcing our database tooling or infrastructure was the smart decision, and indeed it was the smart business decision. Now, I'm not going to do a hand waving here and tell you that your revenue is going to grow as you open source your database tooling. I don't know how to make that connection. Instead, I'm going to share from our experience. We release much of our code as open source, and I just like to tell you about some of the wonderful things that happen to us as a result, and which directly impact our business. So let's talk about Ghost. Ghost is a relatively young project, released a little over a year ago. And I'm not going to go into any technical details. There's a talk tomorrow, and I don't even intend to do any poaching or convince you to go to that talk. But we run Ghost. We use Ghost to run our schema migrations, and we rely on Ghost. It's an important part in that plays part in our ability to run continuous deployments. Without Ghost, our development flow is stalled. So we really need it to run and to run well. A year ago, I was happy to join the Oracle MySQL Engineering Managers team in London. I was joined by Simon Munn from Booking.com, and we were having a half-day session discussing schema migrations, the landscape of schema migrations, where the MySQL solutions fall short, operational concerns, and of course, Ghost. And we had a few outcomes to that meeting. One outcome is that the MySQL engineers said, well, what can we do to make Ghost run better? And we discussed a few potential changes or solutions, and two are actually outstanding right now, so we get to collaborate with MySQL engineers to make our product better. Another outcome is that we get pinged with heads up on upcoming changes. I got pinged by Morgan the other day saying, with the 8.0 data dictionary changes, this might affect Ghost in this and that way. So we get heads up of months to prepare our product to incoming changes, and that's really valuable to us. And of course, they made some engineering suggestions, like why don't you do this and that? And indeed, I think about 2 or 3 weeks later, several nines were reviewing Ghost, and they indicated a performance problem. And I just realized, oh yes, the MySQL people just told me what the solution would be. So that's very helpful. And indeed, the community feedback is overwhelming. A lot of people have been downloading and trying and testing and evaluating and reporting bugs and issues. And today, we're even more confident that Ghost would continue to serve us in production, even facing environmental changes, as we know now that it covers many more use cases than our very specific one for which we designed it. Just as one last example, recently Peter Zaitsev reviewed Ghost and indicated a few performance problems. And we tackled two problems that we hope improve performance. But of interest is that a reader of that blog post just went ahead, reviewed the source code, and clearly correlated and said, to tackle this and that mentioned in the post, you should fix this and that, and here's my suggestion. So people are just telling us, what to change, what needs to be fixed, and that's phenomenal. Let's talk about Orchestrator. I began working on Orchestrator 3.5 years ago. I created it while working at Outbrain, and then continued at Booking.com, and now at GitHub. A year and a half ago, I was pinged by Kenny from Percona, and he had a few questions about Orchestrator, and we had this discussion. And amongst other things, he presented a few concerns about DC fencing and split brains, and that discussion we had planted a small seed. As it turned out, a few months later came a GitHub business requirement, where that discussion was key to choosing the solution. And Orchestrator on Raft, on SQLite, released just recently, is the outcome of that discussion, with more to come. Just before releasing Orchestrator on Raft, I approached a few community members asking for review, for their thoughts, and many did so. And amongst others, I got a review by Renee who indicated something about how we used the proxy in front of our Raft cluster, and he made a suggestion. And that suggestion just eliminated yet another deployment concern that we had. So people were reviewing our code, people were reviewing our documents, people were making suggestions, they were investing time, and they were not on GitHub's payroll. So this is just phenomenal. This happens with open source, and people are willingly helping out and making our products better. We are entering symbiotic relationships. So Vitesse by Google are using Orchestrator as their failover mechanism within Vitesse, and they have made contributions to Orchestrator. We are evaluating Vitesse right now and are making PRs, sending PRs their way. Vitesse might be looking into integrating Ghost as the schema migration solution, and we are looking into the Vitesse minimal parser library for Ghost. So we are able to challenge each other and promote each other and take small steps up and up and up and up, and all in a very friendly and a very collaborative manner. Most companies here don't run database infrastructure as their core business, right? It's just the means to make their application and product work. And we don't compete on that. We don't compete on database infrastructure. We don't compete on database solutions. And I want to say out loud, it would be a shame if a company here loses business because they couldn't scale their databases. It would make me sad, make everyone sad here. This is something we don't compete on, we can collaborate on more, and we can share more. Our ideas, our solutions, etc. When it comes to open source, people are receptive. They're receptive to hear you speak. They're receptive to try your solutions. Conference committees are more receptive to accept your talk. There's more chance for you to approach people, to make them try out your code, your ideas. They will share their thoughts with you. And when people are receptive, it's a chance to inspire. And for a company to be able to inspire, to perhaps influence the flow of things, to potentially lead the way things are going, I think this is a magnificent opportunity. It's not always easy. Maybe no one will ever use your code. Every single DBA in this room has this backlog of open source solutions they want to try and evaluate, right? And we never get to try everything. So maybe you will work on this wonderful open source project and no one will ever use it. Or even worse, everyone will use it. So you will get pinged with issues and pull requests and use cases, and you need to know, you need to invest time in that, you need to prepare for that, and you need to know you have to do some support. And I'll show you the secret. Many open source maintainers secretly wish sometimes that the project is gone away, is blown up. Then they wake up one morning and the GitHub repo is mysteriously gone. We can help with that. So, please talk to us after this. And then there's all the usual reasons, right? We thrive on open source, we should give back, and this is a well-known discussion, but at the end of the day, I strongly believe that collaborating through open source is building friendships, and we see that happening in this very room. So that's a worthy cause. In making this keynote, I was trying to make up a list of everyone who ever contributed to open source that we work on, and I just couldn't enumerate all the people who ever contributed. So my gratitude to everyone. Thank you so much.